All right, it is 7 p.m. We are now officially in open session. So we will start with public comment. We do have public comment tonight. Before I call this individual up, each meeting, we just give a little overview of how public comment works here, just for the general public knowledge. The board welcomes and encourages community engagement at all board meetings. Therefore, time is allocated at the beginning and end of each meeting for audience members to address the board. We kindly ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Please note this is a board meeting in public and not a public forum or a town hall. The board does not directly respond to questions or comments during the meeting, but may ask the superintendent to follow up with you as necessary. So with that, we do have one person that has signed in. I'll invite Nicole Cavalier up to the lectern.
Hello, you've all heard from me. I just want to put something in everyone's head as I sort of fumble through and read a little bit about my son, Carson. Every child, every day. My son is a 14-year-old with an IEP and emotional and health diagnoses. Carson was outplaced from Ames to Ladsey North in December of 2022, partway through his 5th grade year. Well, there were a lot of moving parts and incidents leading up to that outplacement. At the time, his father and I weren't aware we had other options and we could push the school for more for our son. Every parent should know they have options. From the Ladsey North Handbook, the students in these sections are developing skills so they can competently and appropriately participate academically, socially, and emotionally in their home school. His home school being Hauser. It's 2026. Carson's in 8th grade now. In the 3 years he's attended that program, he's made incremental progress toward his IEP goals. When we got him in a good place with appropriate therapies, medication management, and school all working together, we started talking about bringing him back to the junior high. And he did that. He started attending a music class here. And he did really well. I hadn't heard anything, and I even talked to the principal who said that he was doing good. So we decided that we were going to add another class. And that didn't really work out for Carson. So I again talked to Chris Harvalis. We came up with a plan to make sure Carson had his noise canceling headphones, access to alternative seating, and someone that could help him take him from class to class, because that's something he's never done before. Prior to, after Carson was at Ladsey North and we decided to pull him back out of Hauser because it wasn't working out, I took a step back and I thought about what Carson's day looks like. For a highly dysregulated child that struggles with depression, here's what his days look like. The bus to Ladsey is late picking him up from home, which happens at least once a week. Sometimes the bus doesn't come at all. He arrives to Ladsey either late via bus or me dropping him off. He participates in his Ladsey programming. He then waits for the bus from Ladsey to Hauser, which is also typically late. He gets dropped off at Hauser, goes to the office for his Chromebook, gets to chat with Miss Ellis, which is the highlight of his day, then goes to his new class. The bell rings and it's time to go to another class, only he's never been in junior high and it's loud and chaotic during the passing period. So he gets overwhelmed and he doesn't know how to ask for help, but he makes it. Then he goes back to the office to drop off his Chromebook and he gets on another bus that drops him off at around 4 p.m. Carson was navigating 2 schools, multiple different educational support members and teachers, 4 different buses and bus drivers, different peers, and different expectations. That would be overwhelming for anyone, especially a child like Carson. Ultimately, when we pulled Carson back to Ladsey, his behaviors continued to be dysregulated and he was displaying severe depression, which ultimately led to him making statements of ending his life on January 14th. On January 15th, we admitted him to a mental health program, and at that point, his father and I determined that he would not be attending Ladsey North any longer. On January 27th, I emailed Nora Garrity and Chris Harvalis to express my concerns about Carson's educational placement. After 34 emails, one phone call with Nora, on March 13th, the district, Martha, agreed to ISBE mediation, and that is taking place on Monday, March 23rd. I say all this tonight because I don't think anyone should have to fight as hard as I've had to fight to get my child an education. I understand that all of you are aware of what's going on, and Martha, you and I are going to meet on Monday, but I just needed it to be heard. Again, every child, every day. That is what the boilerplate on the letterhead for the board meeting states. 45 days is how long I had to fight to even get a meeting to get my child access to education. Short of bureaucracy and money, I can't comprehend how so many people in the education space lack empathy and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So that brings us to our regular agenda for tonight. Before we get into that, are there any proposed changes by any member of the board? Nope. Okay, so we will open with the superintendent's report.
All right, and my first item on the superintendent's report, I'm looking at Mr. Gearman over there. You have a group of students that I think are waiting out in the hallway. They were getting ready for their conversation presentation with us tonight. We have 5th grade students from Ames physical education class to talk about.
I did bring some friends with me this evening. Good evening, District 96 Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Ryan Toy. This is one of my favorite evenings as a building principal because it gives me the chance, it's not about me at all, it's about the kids, but gives me those bragging rights to just talk about how awesome Ames is as a school, as a community, great staff, and most importantly, amazing students. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our physical education teacher at Ames Elementary School, Mr. Joe Romano.
Thank you, Mr. Gearman, and more importantly, thank you, Dr. Ryan Toy, and to the entire Board of Education for allowing us to come in here today and highlight one aspect of the physical education program at Ames, which I know is every student's favorite aspect, fitness testing, right?
Absolutely.
What we want to do, I want to give an overview of what fitness testing looks like for the 5th grade physical education program, kind of why we do it, what it is, so we get a better understanding, and the students understand why we take the PACER test. With that being said, I brought some amazing 5th grade students with me. When I say your name, if you can just raise your hand. We have Clara, we have Audrey, we have Ahan, we have Lucas, we have Hazel, and we have Matilda. Thank you very much for being willing to do this, and I will turn it over to my student presenters.
The types of fitness testing are the PACER test, which we take multiple times per year, the push-up test, the sit and reach test, and the curl-up test. The PACER is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test. Students run from one side of the gym to the other while attempting to complete a lap by making it to the baseline before they hear a beep. The distance of a lap is 15 meters. The running speed starts slowly and gradually gets faster the longer the students last during the test. If a student does not make it to the line before the beep, it is considered a mistake. Students are allowed 2 mistakes before their test is over.
Push-up test, a test where students must perform push-ups while along to a canvas. The canvas remains the same speed during the entire test. Students must demonstrate proper form while performing these push-ups. Proper form includes a straight back, knees off the ground, and touching their chest to the cone. Sit and reach, a test where students sit with legs straight, feet against the box, and reach forward slowly. Students must hold the farthest point they can reach for 1 to 2 seconds. If proper form is broken, students must redo the attempt. An example of breaking proper form would be bending their leg.
Curl up, a test where students perform controlled cadence-paced crunches or sit-ups. The cadence remains at the same speed during the entire test. A flat mat is used for students to lie on their backs. Students must keep their hands on the mat and slide them forward while performing the exercise. What do they measure? The pacer test measures cadence endurance. The push-up test measures muscular endurance. The sit and reach test measures flexibility. The curl-up test measures muscular strength and endurance.
And now, to give you kind of a taste what fitness testing looks like from a student perspective, we're going to do a little model of what the push-up test would actually look like. And then after this, we're going to do the sit and reach test. Thank you, Clara, for volunteering. Do the push-up test. Make sure it's aligned right underneath the chest. Very good form. Down, up. 1, down, up. 2, down, up. 3. Very nice job. The sit reach. You're up for the sit reach. Hang down. Always come prepared. This thing is probably 105 years old. That's fine. All right. You lay
Find it in the
arms
basement
down.
somewhere.
Put one leg in the box. Which, put the leg right here. Your shoes right there. Yep. Bend one knee back. Hands together. Slide them forward as far as you can go. Very nice. We'll bring it back one more time. Very nice. Thank you. Now, the good part about this is I saw that all of the board members were paying close attention to the push-up test. Because obviously, I was going to ask if I have any volunteers to come down and do the push-up test. I think it's only fair, since our students did such a great job. But if you don't want to.
Who wants to go? Nobody? I'll do it.
Wow.
We're gonna get the most YouTube
Thank you for
views.
volunteering.
Got this.
I'm really trying to
video.
upward.
Let's see.
All right, you
Sure
have to
it's
be
right underneath the chest. Down. Yep, down. Up. 1. Down. Up. 2. Down.
Great.
Up. 3. Very nice. All right. So now continuing on, Lucas, go ahead.
They didn't have that part pre-approved, by the way.
What do they measure? The pacer test measures cardiovascular endurance. The push-up test measures muscular endurance. The sit and reach. The fitness testing allows students to set realistic goals in regards to health-related fitness components. They allow students to develop a greater understanding of their own fitness levels. They encourage healthy habits that students can use in elementary school and beyond, requiring physical education by the state of Illinois. The benefits of improved cardiovascular endurance: improved heart and lungs health, reduced rate of chronic diseases, enhanced mental health and cognition, helps maintain a healthy weight, increased stamina and energy levels.
Benefits of improved muscular endurance: improved daily functioning, reduced injury risk, enhanced posture and stability, improved athletic performance, and improved cardiovascular health. Benefits of improved flexibility: reduced risk of injury, improved mobility and function, better posture and balance, and increased range of motion.
Benefits of improved muscular strength/endurance: improves motor skills and coordination, improves physical conditioning, enhances brain function, supports stronger bones, increases metabolism. In conclusion, fitness testing plays a vital role in the 5th grade physical education program at Ames Elementary School. Each test provides students with the knowledge they need to help to improve their overall fitness and health. They are also crucial to students' goal setting and confidence as they navigate the school year in physical education.
So thank you. Now I would ask if ask if the board members have any questions for the student presenters, kind of in regards to fitness testing, what they like about it, what they maybe don't like about the PACER test specifically.
I wasn't going to lead them on that, but so I know the joke was everybody's favorite thing, but actually there's a lot of kids that do enjoy this. So I'm just curious, like, of this group, do you, some or all of these activities, like, do you look forward to these tests, or is it just to try to enjoy it and get through it, but I don't like it?
I kind of look forward to the PACER test because I like to run.
So is I hear about the PACER all the time, and like highly competitive with certain kids. My daughter is like obsessed with this thing and competing against other kids. Is it that intense at your group? No? Okay. Maybe you'll grow to love it? Because I think, do they start in 5th grade or is it before 5th grade?
We start
Third grade.
So
Okay.
3rd, 4th, and 5th take all the fitness.
Okay. And I know we do it all the way through 8th grade, so it's not going away anytime soon for you. But
Stop hearing me say fitness gram PACER test, multi-stage, pass the test. Progressively gets more difficult as you continue.
How, like, you joked about that thing being in a basement for 105 years, but how long has the PACER test been off for, like, 2 other?
Oh, so the fitness gram has been around for quite some time.
But, like, in this version or this variation?
So before fitness gram, there was the presidential fitness testing,
Oh,
which when
that's
I was in grade school, that's what we did. Things like the shuttle run, the mile run, even do like flex arm hang, pull-ups. So now it's a little bit different. They just focus on those main 4
Okay.
tests. But fitness gram has been around, I'd say, at least for like the last 10
Yeah.
Mr. Romano, would Mr. Muirheiden pass the push-up test?
I think so. It's pretty good.
I wasn't sure how many you were going to make me do. I could have got a couple more out of that.
Right, I should have just kept going. No, thank you for volunteering.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Anybody else? No. Super important. I know most kids don't enjoy it. Some do, but super important stuff. You read all that off, so take it to heart. It's good stuff to have, and you need the break during the day too, right? So it's good to get the wiggles out. So thank you for coming and showing.
Yeah, thank you all
I was
very
hoping we
much.
get to see the PACER.
Thank you all.
I did not realize the PACER was 15 meters per lap. I never got that level of detail. That's a distance. So. All right.
All right. Our next item
yeah.
on the superintendent's report. We've invited superintendent search firms to talk with us tonight. I don't know, Mark. Do you want to do any introduction here, or?
I'm hoping you can hear me through this. I'm assuming that's why this is back here.
The YouTube broadcast can hear
Gotcha.
you through it, yeah.
So I will just keep it brief. Your first representatives, as the kids are probably going to exit, 'cause I don't suspect they want to stay for the entire board meeting.
Yes.
Oh yes, that's a good
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, we'll let them get going.
Student
Maybe.
presenters may leave if you desire. You're more than welcome to stay and listen to the presentations, but
Yeah,
you can
don't
do
feel
it.
like you have to. We know you have busy evenings at home.
Practice for the PACER.
You're good.
Yeah, so with us this evening is the executive firm BWP. I'll let them introduce themselves, but my guess is Dr. Mark Friedman will kick us off. So the 3 of them are before you, and you can feel free probably to jump over to the podium so that your voices are captured on the live stream here.
Tell us if we're not allowed.
Hello, everybody. Ooh, whoa, that's loud enough. Is there a trick to this,
Do you
or?
want to turn that one off, maybe? Because we probably don't need.
Yeah, you're right.
Could we
Charles,
just
let's take off the internal mic. So the mic actually that doesn't amplify is what sends the you're out to the YouTube
Yeah,
broadcast.
That was easy.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Could have figured that one
That's
out.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hello, everybody. Great to be here. Martha, I don't think I've seen you since the last Northwestern tailgating. And that's been 2 years since they tore that stadium down. But it's good to see you. We're going to talk through this PowerPoint presentation. We've made a paper copy for you to kind of take notes, scratch things out, add additional things. So please feel free to keep it and do that. We'll start off pretty quickly by intros, and we'll just go in order of how this is listed. And I'm the president of the company. I started this company almost 20 years ago while I was still superintendent. I was superintendent for 18 years in Libertyville, and had a lot of good stuff happen during my superintendent career. But like all superintendents, you like to multitask. So in addition to being a full-time superintendent, I also started doing searches on the side with a mentor of mine that brought me into an organization that I kind of had a good feel for. It's turned into a 20-year part-time career now, post-working or post-retired. I'm still retired, but a career that keeps me pretty busy right now, almost full-time. So I have done literally at least 150 searches over this period of time. Oh, okay. We're looking at two different things. So with that, Victoria.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for the opportunity. I want to just first say the kids were amazing, and it just brought so much joy to me this evening. So I just wanted to commend you all on that. My name is Victoria Stockton. I'm the current superintendent in Bellwood School District 88. This is a typo, so please excuse that. You have the accurate copy in your possession. I have been working with BWP and Associates for the last 3 years. I am going into year 5 as superintendent Bellwood School District 88, and I've completed, I've worked consulting with them on a few additional searches, but actual searches that I've been on the search team is about 10. So, thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sheila Harrison Williams. I too am with BWP. I've been with the company since 2012. I'm a retired superintendent after 18 years. I was superintendent in Will County, out at Fairmont School in Lockport, and then I did 15 years in Hazelcrest School District in the South Suburb. And I retired in 2019 and was just a very hyper kind of person, and I just couldn't sit down. So I went out to Phoenix, Arizona. I was the state executive director for their School Boards Association. Loved the work, loved the job, loved the people. Everything was great, except if you ever been to Phoenix, you know it's hot. And it was a little bit too hot for me. And I'm from Mississippi, so I know heat. Mississippi has nothing on Arizona, okay? So I wanted to come home. And lo and behold, after 3.5 years, it was with a heavy heart because I know people were not very happy when I decided to come back home, but I needed to come home because the heat was literally burning me. And so when I came home, I was lucky enough to get back in the swing of things with the Illinois Association of School Administrators, where I served for 12 years on that board while I was a superintendent, first African American to serve as the president, and the 73-year history at that time, and not one since. However, I got very, very lucky. I think it was a blessing. Came back to become a field service director. I remember when we designed that position, I always said, oh my God, that's a great gig for a retired superintendent. I walked back, 2 people had retired from that, so it was open again. So I went through the process, interviewed, and was hired. So now I actually get to do what I love. Superintendency, I love. And what I do now is I work with new early career superintendents in West Cook, South Cook, and 3 Rivers, and love it. And so I help those people be successful. I want them to love the superintendency as much as I have, and enjoy it, and enjoy it, and enjoy it, and you know, just to help them get over the hurdles, the little kinks. So that's what I've been doing. So in addition to that, you know, being full transparent, I'm also helping Dalton School District 148 in the South Suburb. And if you watch the news, you've heard about that school district, and they need a lot of service. So I've been helping them as well. And of course, my other love, this one.
Yeah, you forgot the 50 searches that you've done.
Oh, actually it was more than that. I've worked on a whole bunch of searches, and I do that all the time. I think we've probably completed just this year alone about 10.
We had a busy year.
We've been real busy, but I'm loving it every step of the way.
We emphasize these numbers of searches for a reason. You know, I always like to make a medical analogy. You go to the doctor and you say, hey, you're going to need an operation. Okay, go to meet with the surgeon. Say, okay, you performed this operation before, haven't you? So, well, I've done one, and, you know, I think I can work my way through it. Doesn't give you a lot of confidence in that doctor, does it? And I say the same thing here because there's no one that can match the number of searches that we have done. And we'll talk about some in your neighborhood as we move through this process. So, okie doke. A little bit about us. We have 9 partners. We're all retired superintendents. We have active superintendents because it helps us round out our teams. Our active superintendents are in the middle of working with groups, meeting other superintendents, looking at and finding the up-and-coming people who are going to be the next superintendents. They're out in the field, they're very active. We're active, but we always like to have a seated superintendent working on one of our teams. We always have 3 people on our teams also, just to give it a little bit of a perspective that's somewhat different from the way it would normally be when you're looking at, okay, here's just one person, we like him or her, or that's it. All 3 of us, are the ones who would be doing the work. We don't come and do a pitch and then have somebody else do the work. It would be us. We would customize the process for you. So there may be certain things that you'd like to see or do, we would do that. And we're famous for doing that. And we had to do quite a bit. Your neighbor in River Forest, we just finished. It was very interesting. We walked in during a labor issue. And it started last August. And just last week, they finally settled it. But we did the search through this labor action on the part of their staff. Teachers wouldn't come and meet with anyone. They would not come to any of our setup input meetings, things like that. And it was really tough on the school board. And it was so interesting to see. I saw it this week that they finally settled that. So interesting things. We had to customize that search to take into account the issues that were going on in the community and with the board and the Teachers Association. So we'll always recruit a talented and diverse candidate pool. That, you don't even have to ask us. That's an automatic. We'll create a timeline that meets your needs, but we'll give you input. We'll give you our history and our thinking into that when we create that timeline. And cost, we've got a cost proposal in there. We'll talk about other area searches and, of course, our record of success, and we'll give you the numbers on that. And we actually do research on it.
And ultimately, the goal of BWP for each leadership search is to help you all identify, and we will then present a slate of well-qualified, diverse candidates to serve as your next leader. So, as he mentioned, we are really particular about who we select to go through that process and make the slate. So we make sure that we look at what your needs are, talking with board members, going through our process, but we make sure it is aligned with your goals, your mission, your vision, and your core values.
Okay.
Yeah.
BWP and Associates, we're a national search firm. Our roots go back to the 70s. We're always out there. We talk about a national search, if you want to do additional things. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to say we're a national search firm because you don't have to do all this extra national search. You don't have to go out and spend money because we are a national search firm. Mm-hmm. We do attract from all over the country. And I think that's something special for us. And we do not encourage districts, and you have every right to want to go onto the AASA website and ALAS websites. Those are national, that's all they do. They're national search sites. But we are a national search firm, so everything that we put out on our site gets seen nationally. We have successfully conducted over 500 searches. We're the 4th largest search firm in the country. We have 9 directors and nearly 40 associates, and we're very diverse in our ownership. Mark is president, of course, and I am a partner. We have a remarkable history of success. 99% of our candidates that we seat, they complete their first contracts. 95% of them are offered a successor contract, and not one that we have placed in the superintendency, knock on wood, have been dismissed for malfeasances. And so we're very proud of that.
Yeah. If you look at your paper copy, it looks a little different than the screen. So please look at your paper copy. It's cleaner and neater. That was my dirty work. I'm not the best. But we just want to highlight some of the neighbors that we just finished. Hinsdale District 181. We've done 3 searches for them. We've also done the Hinsdale High School District 86, the district that had turned out superintendents one after the next. We've got a person in there who's just starting and is going to stay. By the way, an out-of-state placement. As Sheila was just saying, we network out-of-state. Palatine, the biggest elementary district in the state of Illinois, we just completed that search. We completed that about a month ago. Elk Grove, Arlington Heights, it's funny, Elk Grove Village, Arlington Heights, District 59. One of your teachers is a school board member on that Board of Education. So I think they were really, really pleased with how it worked out. We brought a candidate from Houston, Texas, who is starting early, actually. So I would encourage you to talk to that teacher and see how happy they were as a board with all of our work. I think they were very pleased. And I'm very much in contact with them because the new superintendent actually starts next week. Very unusual time, but he's coming up from Texas to do that. Comarack, right next door, basically. Summit, right in the neighborhood. Glenbard High Schools, we just finished a year ago. Bloomingdale, somebody from Wisconsin is going to Bloomingdale. We worked with Mark Kuznetsky's District 95 and Mundelein. Mundelein is the most unusual district you want to see. They have 2 boards, shared services, 2 boards, 1 superintendent. So, Martha, you would have 14 school board members if you were working at Mundelein. And we've been doing a lot of work in Maywood, District 89, Maywood, Melrose Park, Broadview, District 89. So these are just some of the immediate area things, just so you know, we know our way around. Okay. So when we do a search, we have 5 phases. These are interchangeable. So if something doesn't sit well with you, and how do we do all this interchanging or customizing? We have a formal meeting with you. If you select us, we'll have a planning meeting, and we'll walk through all these things, and we'll hear your thoughts, and we'll give you our responses, and then we'll come up with a plan that everybody's comfortable with and agrees upon. So we'll do, at the beginning, we'll do the timeline, stakeholder involvement, we'll do a marketing plan, a communication plan, working with whomever it is in your district that does the communication. We'll offer you compensation help, salary ranges. There's a new law that requires you to post the range. Even though it's 1 position only, you still need to post the salary range. Some places are not doing that, and I've talked to the attorney for the Illinois Association of School Administrators, and he says somebody's going to sue and everything's going to fall apart. Well, we won't let any of our districts get caught up in that. So we give you a good, honest range to go for and to post and put that as part of the action. By the way, just shut it out if you have a question. I'll give you time afterwards, but don't hesitate.
The leadership profile, what we do, we start with you all as board members. We would set up individual phone calls from you so we can hear about what are the things you love about Riverside School District 96. What are some things, some challenges and or just some things that the next superintendent should be aware of? And then what are your hopes and dreams for the district? So we would talk to you all. We would also set up focus groups and do that same process. We ask the same 3 questions to all stakeholder groups. School community leaders, staff, students, open meetings. Again, this is all customizable, but these are some sort of examples of how we would go about that process. We would also develop a survey in multiple languages. Again, we would get that input from you all of what you would like that survey to look like. And then that survey will be out on the community, again, customizable for a period of time. Again, we will work with you all on the details of that, put that out to the community, and that way we get feedback. So that way, if they did not attend a focus group, they still had an opportunity to answer the questions on the survey. We would take all of that information, and then we would analyze all of that data, and we would go through and develop the leadership profile based off of all of the information that we have ascertained from, again, all of those multiple stakeholder groups.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever sat in on a strategic planning committee meeting?
Oh, yeah, yeah. In some districts, they want that group that's part of the plan to be like a separate subgroup.
Focus group.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, several of our partners and colleagues actually do strategic planning in districts, so we're pretty familiar with that. We're not in here about that, but we do have colleagues that do that.
And then phase 3 is recruitment and assessment. And recruitment, and that's something that we're very proud of. We don't just wait for the applications to come in. We go out and we seek, once we realize what we're looking for in your next superintendent, we go out and we talk to all of our colleagues and our friends and people that we know, and we say, this is what we're looking for. Who do you know? I will say this, the person that becomes your next superintendent may not even be looking for a job right now. We get the opportunity to go in to see successful superintendents at work, and if they match your profile, we get to go out and try to get them to come in and and apply for the position. One of our competitions is our state association. Now you know about IASB. That's because everyone in the state, every school board is a member of that association. They cannot go out and recruit. We can recruit, and that's something that we take advantage of. We don't let that go by. We are out there. We attend conferences. We attend all kinds of meetings, anything that has to do with education, where superintendents are, we are, and we're getting to know these people on a personal basis, seeing what they're doing, getting into those districts sometimes, and seeing exactly what they're doing. We also get nominations from people from across the state and across the country. People that go onto our website and they'll see something that's out there and they say, oh, this so-and-so would be a good person or a good fit for that district. And we are all members of the state and national organizations. As I stated, I was very, very active with the Illinois Association of School Administrators, but also some of the national. I served on AASA's board, NAPSI's board. I served on a lot of national boards, which get me out there in front of people, and I get to know people all over the country. And then we do a candidate assessment. This starts right away. As soon as the applications start coming in, we start looking at them. We start looking at them, and I look at them and I find out who they are. And they always put down references, and most of the time I don't call those references. Because I believe, a wise lady told me one time, she said, we're not 6 degrees of separation, Sheila, we're 2. Which means if I don't know you, I know someone that does. And that is what I go by. And so they'll tell me the truth. And because I know if you put their name down, you're expecting a good reference from them. Not always work that way, but most of the time, it's the way it does. And then we do our screening interviews after that, meaning once the application closes, we go back and we go through and we screen. It's 3 of us, and we get our choices, and then we debate.
Yep.
And then once we debate, we go and we start screening interviews, meaning we do this online. It's usually a Zoom meeting that we do, and that's how we start to develop a small group to bring back to you, 4 to 6 individuals, and I know Mark is going to talk about more about that.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, go.
We also align the questions that we ask them based off the leadership profile.
Yeah.
So we know, again, we're gonna get, you know, as best as we can, a great match, because we're very intentional every step of the way with how we customize the process.
And of course, we do background searches. We this team will do a dive into their social media, but we have someone that works with our company. Once we figure out who's coming before the board, they'll do a deeper dive into their background. And Mark will talk more about that later.
Social media stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Things
So
like
I
that.
had a question regarding
Yeah.
the applicant, when you say you close it, when you close the application, is that time-based? Is that number
Yes.
of candidates based, or?
Yes, it's a time basis. We usually do it in 12. We can do a search in a short period of time, but a normal time is 12 to 16 weeks.
And I guess, is there a threshold of like how many candidates? So like if it's, and. like,
It's
if you don't-
open.
It's open, but I guess what's the normal number of candidates you get in a?
Right now, you wouldn't believe it, but some of the districts that we didn't think we were going to get any candidates, we were getting like 40. Mark and I finished
We had
how many we had? We had
71
70
in Alsip.
In Alsip, which is a small district, 3 small schools, but they did. We had just that many. It was hard. It was very difficult.
When I worked on Rockford Search recently, we had a lot.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was a lot.
But I tell you,
You know, the question is a perfect question, though, because up until this year,
we weren't seeing that.
we were probably 30 would be a happy group.
Yeah.
I mean, 30 would be happy. And then all of a sudden, it just kind of, we've been very busy.
Yes.
We're very fortunate to have been selected by a lot of quality organizations. And it seems like the numbers kept growing and growing, and we were starting to see 60 and 70 for small districts, not national attention, but just good, solid districts. People, the word gets out, and people start applying. So we're seeing those numbers jump for the first time in years.
in a long time. And so, but you know, a lot of that is you. A lot of that attraction is you. And a lot of it is your superintendent that's been here for so long. And how well you get along, the good things that are going on, it's you sell yourself. And so they're interested. And it makes our job hard. But I tell you what, we're gonna make it even harder for you. Because you're gonna be like, oh my God. If given the chance, yeah.
Yeah, I just as an example, going back to next door, and we usually say narrow your pool down to 2 people. We're going to talk about that, and they couldn't. So they said, we really have 4 people. I said, well, you're not doing much narrowing down. So they compromised and brought 3 people back for final interviews, and we saw more of that this year than we've seen, which to us, that's sweet music.
Yeah.
We like seeing that, because it's not like they're saying, yeah, well, we didn't like anybody, bring us new people.
Right.
So
The
that's
quality of the candidates. that
kind of
we
what we're
bring.
seeing, yeah. You want to talk about that?
So the board prep and interview, so we've been talking about this candidate slate. So typically, I mean, and again, it depends on the quality of the pool of applicants. So we sort of narrow it. Our sort of threshold is between 5 to 7 candidates, because we don't want you to get into a situation where you can't narrow it down. Again, that leadership profile piece is important. Go ahead.
And even though we say 5 to 7, if we don't get 5 and I only get 4,
You're not just.
that's all I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring you 5, I'm not gonna bring you 7 if I don't have 7.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I wanna make it very difficult for you, but whoever I bring will be highly qualified and able to do the work. And then it'll be up to you to pick between those people.
Absolutely.
As he said, we will do our own research on the findings of their background. We'll do that deeper dive. We have the consultant that works with us on that. And then we'll set up an interview workshop with the board. And this is where we basically, we train you on, or give you suggestions on how to go about that interview process. So we'll walk you through like a workshop where we will give you some model questions. We talk through the different phases and the steps. And then you all build consensus on, again, the question pool, what you like to take them on a dinner for the final meeting with the final 2 candidates. It's your choice, but we would kind of walk you through those things. And then round 1 would be again that slate of 5 to 7, but as my colleague said, if it's 4, it's 4. And then once you narrow it down to those final 2 or 3 candidates, then again, that's when you can decide if you would like to just bring them back into a setting like this, or if you would like to maybe take those 2 out for dinner, just so you can get to see them on a more of a personal level.
Just a question, have you ever had candidates that you have it, like boards where they haven't came down to like find it, based on your selection, did you have to ever go back to the well to like look for additional candidates?
Have we ever had to go back to the well?
Have we ever, go back and
Right,
pick
go
up?
back, because,
No.
okay.
But sometimes candidates get cold feet and back out.
Yeah.
Now that has happened too.
That's happened.
Okay.
Even though we babysit them, we say, we're babysitting these candidates. But, you know, you don't want anybody going in unless they're going in 100%.
Absolutely.
If they're kind of dragging their feet and not sure, we'll say, well, maybe this isn't for you.
Right.
So we've had that happen. And when people, they have the dream, and when reality hits, it's like,
They get scared.
maybe I'm not ready.
And the other thing is, when they're looking. They're looking at you, they're looking next door, and they're looking across the street. So sometimes the board has to really be on top of it, meaning you're gonna have to, you can't like, we'll meet with this group 1 week, and then in a couple of weeks we'll meet with our next 2, because they're looking, and because we think they're good, someone else thinks they're good as well. And so it just happened to me, lost a candidate that I thought was number 1 to another district because the board didn't move on like they should have.
That's a good point.
That's the only time we had to go back and start looking, but yeah.
So are your candidates often working with other search firms as well, or is it that you're putting your candidates with multiple districts as an
No
option?
way. That's a good point, and let me just say this: we will never do that. If they go to another school district, it's not something that a district that we are representing. We will never do that. We will never put them in 2 searches at once.
But we ask those candidates, what else are you involved in?
Yes, we do ask them.
So we can honestly say to a board, hey, they're also going into this other search, and we can't get 100% commitment from them. Sometimes we'll just say, are you committed to District A, or are you shopping still?
Right.
So
Because we don't want you to get set up and then you have your sights on this one candidate and then they go somewhere
They would
else.
have to purely lie to us, and that's not a good career move.
No.
So we really put that on them, on their shoulders, and really we put them on for that. Okay.
I just want to be, before you go on, I just want to just sort of quickly do a time check. We do want to like limit this to like between presentation and questions to 40
We're going really fast.
So-
Okay, we're
fast.
done.
Phase 5, all these things: contract prep, public announcements, transition planning, relationship building, and mentoring. We give a full year of mentoring. One of us will work with the new superintendent,
No charge.
whether they're experienced or not.
I
So-
did have a question about the mentoring. What
No
about
charge.
what about the mentoring for the board? Is there ever mentoring or discussions with the
We
board?
stay in touch with the board for the
Yep.
whole first year.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we feel we're building this relationship.
Yeah.
I think that it's all about it. And I know in talking to Mark that this is the first experience for all of you, or most of you at least, in hiring a superintendent. And so we need to, and we thought about this and we all talked about it, we need to ensure that we're bringing you along with us,
Exactly.
not just assuming, oh, they know about
already
this,
know.
they know about
Right.
this.
Right.
So it's a learning experience for you and a mentoring experience for us.
Exactly. And then you have all of our phone numbers. You can call us at any time. You get a question or you're like, I'm confused. You just give us a call. You
And
know?
when we set up those one-on-one interviews with the board, it's also a good opportunity to ask any
And you know,
questions.
we say 1 year mentoring. I
it
know
never
from experience,
ends, yeah.
mentoring, once you get it, it's life. It's you're never gonna get rid of us. We're gonna be, how you doing?
The board president from Palatine and I have speed dial each other instantly.
Here's a proposed timeline.
Yeah, we're looking at late spring having a planning meeting, and then there's a lull in the action until August-ish, and then kind of working heavily August, November, and then ending at the end of November, December, or condensing it even. That's what we do in the planning meeting. We talk about the pros and cons of condensing or keeping it a longer process. As Sheila said, 12
Sure.
weeks, typically
It
the
can be
whole
done by
thing.
triple I.
Yeah, that type of thing.
And that timeline is important because you want to make sure you get the chance to get the best quality pool of candidates, and typically it's during that time.
And this is
So
the
this
time.
is a perfect time.
This
to
is
start.
it right here.
Yep.
You got the best time.
Yeah, the fees are pretty easy to understand. Actually, that travel thing, we're all in the area, so there shouldn't be anything. You know, we like to come to neighborhoods where we're close instead of driving halfway on the other side of the state.
Right. We all live up there.
Yes. And why us? We're on call throughout the process and beyond. I think that answers that question that David said earlier. We are around. We're not just one-shot deal here. We give you a 2-year guarantee that things don't work out. We're going to follow up on that. We'll do it again if we have to. We don't like saying that because we haven't had to do it and we don't want to start. We won't place a superintendent in another search for the duration of the contract, not just in the process of hiring, but in the duration of the contract.
We won't come back for them.
No. Or they go on a list.
They can't
Not
come
a
back
good
to
list
us.
either.
So I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to jinx yourself and talk about it, the guarantee. But can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Like what that sort of involves? Like the
2-year guarantee.
2-year guarantee. Yes.
So if for some reason that it doesn't work out, we're saying basically that they will stay minimum of 2 years,
Okay.
but throughout the duration of the contract. But if it doesn't work out, we will repeat the whole process if need be.
No cost.
No
No
cost.
cost.
Yeah. But we know that that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can do that. So why us, real quick, strong record of success. We do a lot with underrepresented candidate groups and women candidates. And, you know, we're with you from the beginning to the end and then for the first year on board. So it's not like, oh, they came in, they did their thing, and you never hear or see from them again. So we attempt to build a relationship, and it's not just about getting the candidate, it's about other things. So
We
that-
love this work.
Yeah, we enjoy this. This is our thing, you know? And we like working with each other. And I think that's we did the started the season in Grays Lake in Lake County, the three of us. And by the time we were done, they wanted to hire her, and we had to hold them back and say, "Wait, she's got a job; they'll kill us." So it just shows we got into such a good relationship building
We make the
with that
connections
group.
with the
Yeah,
board.
we
That's
enjoy it.
important, because
We
this
enjoy
is
it.
critical. This is critical, you know, selecting a superintendent.
Yeah.
And as a sitting superintendent, I understand and I get the work, so, you know, we really want to make sure we do a good job on behalf of.
Your turn.
Question.
So I wonder, do you keep track of how long superintendents might last past their initial contract?
Yeah, we have. That's Glenn's study. He's supposed to be updating it. One of our colleagues who works at a university has done an initial research piece. It's gotten a little dated, so he's told us he's working on updating it with just those kinds of things.
But we can say that, as we stated in the presentation, that they get that first year and the majority of them get a second year contract, a second contract. And usually they start with a 3 or a 4, and then they get that 5 year, and that's like, we know they're in love, you know.
Will you try to poach them in their second contract?
Well, you know what?
Then it's fair game?
So
Okay.
there is this thinking that if you get through your first year really well, things are going good, the board likes you, you like them, and you're on a 3-year contract, by the middle of your second year, you're talking new contract, extension, And we are the contact people to kind of get the conversation going. Because the superintendent's sort of reluctant to bring it up.
Yeah.
And unless the board president brings it up first,
Right.
then it's awkward sometimes.
Yeah. But they don't like to talk about it.
Yeah,
As a
so
superintendent, that was
we get in the
difficult.
middle of that many times, saying, hey, you know, things are going so well, maybe you want to lock up your person, because there's poaching all over the place today.
I just talked about it.
It's tough for them. It's tough. But it's great.
Good questions, though.
Any more?
What is the reality? Like, it's great to think we can get anybody from all over the country, but like, how many people do cross state lines?
Quite a
Quite a
few.
few.
Is it?
Bloomingdale, we took some from Wisconsin. Elk Grove Village, somebody from Texas.
Colorado, I had
Hinsdale High School from
Rockford.
Indiana.
Rockford got
Hinsdale
some.
Elementary from Missouri.
Is
So
there, do we have to compensate for any kind of like reduction in pension pay or future benefits or anything like that?
no,
Is
we
that part-
talked
no,
about
it's
that
not?
to
Okay.
them. No,
We
they'd
let
all
them
come in
pensions
as a
don't
tier
transfer,
2
right?
That was
employee.
cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do tell them, they know,
Okay.
back in the day, this was the place to come. Everybody was coming because we had such a fantastic retirement system. And now everybody knows it's gone down a lot. But we explain all of that to them so they are clear when they get in. Now, what you guys do with your superintendent, how you keep them, that would be something that's between the two of you.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, because like if you really do the I mean, depending on how long you've been in your career, that could be a pretty big financial hit starting over. So I just
Yeah,
wasn't
you're
sure
not
how-
responsible for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a similar one just recently in St. Louis. He moved because he was basically working because of their retirement system, how different it is from Illinois. So he left there, retired, and came here. So there
Okay.
was nothing that the district had to.
I'm sure there's personal reasons
Yeah.
people want to move back
Yeah.
and stuff too, but
Exactly.
okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
move back.
many neighboring states have retirement eligibility at 50.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a pretty young age to be doing nothing. I mean, it sounds good, but you know, it's an awful young age to have nothing to do. So a lot of them do
Or do what you
state
want.
jumping. Yeah, yeah, there you go.
And most superintendents are super hyper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just pretend to be
Type,
quiet.
type A minuses. I don't know about Mark over there, but there it is. I don't know how you classify you. But.
Hyper too.
Any other questions?
Yes, thank you. I appreciated learning how you gather, kind of the input from the various stakeholders involved. During this timeline, is there periodic updates or communicating progress to the community that is handled, kind of outside of the board, making those updates through committee reports, but you all providing updates to the community?
We tend to work with whoever the district's information person is.
The communications.
Person. A lot of times there's a lull in the action, like I said. There's just periods where there's nothing really happening. The posting is out, all the profiles been done. It's all presented in public meeting. So the reality of it is there's times when there's nothing going on, and so there's nothing to put out there. But we encourage districts to have on their website the superintendent's search drop down where we feed that. And
we
works
can
pretty
also
good. Yeah.
let the board president, whoever you select to be your contact person, like update them all the time, like, every other week or so. You can say you got 10 apps, you got 25, this is where we are with the community. And sometimes making sure that community survey gets out, we run into snags. And maybe you need to say to your media person or whoever gets it out, let's do another
Blitz.
I don't know, class dojo, I don't know what
Yeah.
they use, whatever they let the parents know to go on.
Second round, yeah.
To do another round, to encourage them to do it. So we will be in touch with you all the time, making sure that the community, if this is what you want to do, have a voice and an opportunity to get
But
their
I
input.
do want to just sort of clarify, though, the candidates themselves. So a candidate, we're not going to be publishing the names of the
No,
candidates.
no.
Yeah.
Then you'd have no candidates.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to,
Yeah,
I wanted to.
and that's something, that's something that we definitely will talk about in that planning meeting.
Right.
What type of confidential search.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost
Highly
critical.
recommended.
Yeah,
It's almost critical.
that's what I wanted to.
Highly recommended.
confidential search, and those names do not, we're in a state where we do not have to publish. Some states they have to publish. We in a state, we do not have to publish. And the thing is, as I was stating earlier, that the person that I want to get to come over here probably not even looking for a job. But they're in a good situation, they're doing great work.
But this may be their dream job.
They don't know yet. But they're getting along with their board. You know, board, to pretend it's like a marriage, right?
Yeah.
You're cheating on me. You're looking. You're out there looking at somebody else. Now, you better get lucky. Because if you come back, I'm going to be angry. You know, that kind of thing. We don't want to put people in that situation, especially if they're in a good situation, they're very successful. But those are the ones we want.
Yeah, no question.
Good question.
Word gets out. You know what the first thing they ask of us?
Is this a confidential search?
One,
No,
that's
that's
one. But two is, what is the board like?
Yeah. So.
Why is the superintendent leaving?
We're
award-winning.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna I know we've sort of time bound this to like 45 minutes. We are actually at 45 minutes, I guess. Is there any sort of last minute questions that we have before we wrap things up?
All right.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Look forward to hearing from you guys. Have a great night.
You too.
You too.
Good to see everybody. Oh, watch out.
Oh, I see it. Yep, thank you.
No, yeah, it's your section, so sort of. You're leading the charge. Have a good night.
Thanks a lot, you too. Thanks, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming in.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Nice to meet you as well. Good
Good night. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you. Have a good
Good to see you.
evening.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I started to say, oh no. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Take care. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you.
I was gonna say, imagine. Nice to meet you.
Well, if you need another
Thank you all
reference,
so much.
Mark will be willing to do
Okay. All right.
Well, you told us we're not supposed to go to people who are on your
It was Arlington and
That board that was like really impressive, right?
Yeah.
They presented on?
Yeah. I don't know. Is there more than one Bellwood? I know it was Bellwood, but I don't know what the district number was. That was kind of a cool concept that they were talking about
Okay.
at the whatever session it was that we went
I didn't realize superintendents have time to have a second
I
job.
don't know who those superintendents are.
I was about to ask if this was when you leave us. Like, I was like, are you gonna go do something like
Yeah.
this?
Sitting superintendents that do other people's strategic plans. Never figured that out.
Bizarre.
a lot of time.
Okay. We have another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just waiting for the
Here, wait for the next one.
second HYA to come in.
We're gonna have to flaunt that board governance recognition.
Yeah. We like this. There's only 86
Our
of them.
flex.
Maybe
Right.
two.
Yeah.
When did we put those signs up?
That was probably at the start of the year,
Oh, was
and
it?
they must have, they probably grabbed it off of social media or something.
I totally missed that.
Thinking.
I've actually watched part of this presentation.
Okay,
I
this
think
part
these
out.
people, did HYA
Yeah.
do, or did HYA do the district that Steve comes from?
I don't know. Did you look it up?
The pictures are familiar.
Did we put them in the auditorium?
I have no idea.
Oh, they
Mark,
come
Mark
in.
put himself, here they go.
Here they come. All right.
Tucked them away, man.
Be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were just saying they're gonna probably edit this silent part out.
Yeah, I think they do have a like
video spot.
Yeah, it's all 3 plots.
Make me look really fast. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So your second group for tonight is Hazard, Young, and Atia. So we have 2 representatives. I'll let Carrie start, probably, and go from there. It looks like you're pulled up, and here's your.
Perfect.
Clicker.
You're gonna run.
Hi.
Carrie.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Carrie, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Hey, David.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Martha. David, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
I saw
thank
your
you,
wife.
thank you.
Yes. Hi, Selena. Nice to meet you.
Carrie.
Hi, Selena. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Well, good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I need to speak in the mic so the camera can hear. Is that?
The little black one, not
Yeah.
that one has an amplifier for the
Okay.
kids that we had earlier. So yeah, the little black one. It won't reverberate, but it just goes straight in the camera.
All right. All right. Well, we appreciate the opportunity to share what we can offer your board and your school district this evening. As I said, my name is Carrie Fodorero, and this is my associate, Lynn Burks. And we're just going to start just to tell you a little bit about each of us for a minute or two. Lynn, why don't you start?
Yeah, I am Lynn Burks. I sat 24 years in your chair, and when I left the board, because nobody in HYA can sit on the board, nobody in HYA can be a sitting superintendent or even an interim superintendent. We have to be completely independent. It's the most important decision the board can make, and especially now post-COVID, and the leadership that is needed, and the change and the disruption that is going on. This work is personal for me, and we love connecting the leaders with districts and really understanding their needs. So it's an honor to meet you all. Thank you for the service that you do. And I'm also a practicing HR executive. So I do proprietary work, and I do nonprofit work, school district work, and higher education work.
And I'm Carrie Fodorero. I'm a retired superintendent of 6 years. 15 years at Cass School District, an elementary school district in DuPage County. I also, Lynn and I are both in higher ed. I work at National Louis University, and I help prepare our next superintendents. Like Lynn, I'm also an HR administrator. I've done 3 interims post-retirement in HR.
Okay, I'm going to try doing this. There we go. All right.
So our presentation tonight, you know, when I sit and I listen to somebody, you know, questions pop into my head. And if I have to wait to the end to ask those questions, I kind of get frustrated. And if you're like me, and if you have a question or if you want some clarification on anything we say at any time in this presentation, please feel free to speak up. We prefer an interactive presentation so you get the information you need to make this very important decision. This slide I like calling HYA by the numbers. And I think it really tells the story about our executive search firm. We're one of the oldest, if not the oldest, educational executive search firms in the nation. Founded in 1987 by Bill Atia. We have 39 years under our belts. I've been there since the beginning. Lynn, obviously, no. I was close to the beginning. I worked with Bill Atia. We've done over 1,600 searches. We average currently 80 searches a year. We're coast to coast, and we have 140 associates working in HYA. We're based out of the Chicago area. Our office is in Arlington Heights. We've been there since 1987. We're not a basement or garage superintendent search firm or an online superintendent search firm. We actually have a brick and mortar office with full-time staff that are there during the business hours. We have an IT department. We're a real legit company. as Lynn referenced before, we don't have any full-time superintendents or active administrators in our firm. When we make a commitment to a school district, we want to give you 100%. We are readily available to you 24/7. If we were acting superintendents, something would have to give. It would either be the search or our superintendencies. So we take this very, very seriously, and that's why we're here 100% for you. Being in the business so long, we have a subscribers list. Martha, you might be on it, or other people in your district, and you get emails every month from us. We have a job site. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at our website, please do. www.hyasearch.com. We believe it's the #1 go-to for superintendent positions in the United States. We not only post our superintendencies, we post all of them, and we get a significant amount of hits on that website, 32,000 plus unique hits every single month. We also have a database. If you're an interested superintendent and looking for another superintendency, or a superintendent looking for your first superintendency, we encourage you to register in our database on our website, and we currently have 6,600 superintendent candidates that are active in our database.
Yeah, let me so what does this mean for you? So we talk about our 140 associates. Terry and I we are your search team 24/7 available to you. We sleep with our phones,
Thought we weren't going to say that tonight.
If any of us are calling you at 3 in the morning, we got a problem.
It's an engaging process, and we're here to kind of guide you through the process. We are truly a community of practice, and so while we're your search consultants, we lean on all of our associates. We're a community of practice. We meet all the time because we learn from each other. We learn from every search. I just got back from Denver. I saw some of the most innovative models and methods of elementary education out there. It's not just about a search. We're also about bringing you a leader that understands where you're at and where you need to go and how best to support learners whose careers and career paths are completely different from what we all experience. So we are truly a community of practice, and we leverage that. And we leverage, I know you will decide whether you want a national search or local search or regional search. We're here to tell you that we bring in the best leader based on understanding what your needs are. And nobody has our research practices we are truly researchers and practitioners as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We have one single point person. We like to have one single point person so you can and we would also ensure that the board has one point person so we can ensure all that communication. You are starting at a wonderful time, and so we are ready to start the search process, as soon as possible. You are surely extremely proactive with this process, so we commend you for that. We'll talk about, we have an entire slide about our research-based quantitative, qualitative mixed method design that we truly understand your needs and community needs. And then our devotion to inclusivity and transparency, and some of the work that we do to be able to really understand aspiring leaders as well in this space.
We do searches all over the nation, but this is a sampling of the last 3 years in the Chicagoland area, searches that were in the regional area that we've done. Does anybody have any questions so far on what we've covered?
I had a question regarding the how do you go about recruiting candidates or identifying candidates? You were listed on your previous slide like a bunch of websites and sort of subscriber lists, but I guess
in the top right, if you look at that top right, is that 75% of our candidates, I believe we put up there, we actually recruit.
So that's why I wanted a little clarity on that. So yes, don't thank you.
Yeah, and so we just don't wait for candidates to see this position advertised. Once we get a good sense and we develop this leadership profile that we'll talk about later on, and we have an understanding what you're looking for, then we're going to go out and we're going to find you candidates that meet that leadership profile. And we will bring you a slate of candidates, and if you want 4, or if you want 5, or if you want 6, whatever you want, we'll find, and we will guarantee you that any of those 4 or 5 or 6 will be a successful superintendent for you. Yeah, so some firms, not all, but some post and wait for them to come to us. We post, but then we also aggressively go after.
And we don't, all due respect to our competitors, we don't reshuffle a deck. We are independent because every search is unique and independent. And so I really love that question, David. We'll talk a little bit more about it when we talk about building the leadership profile. But we are completely independent, and we are not interested in reshuffling the deck. I surely wasn't interested in it when I was, retired superintendents or retired superintendents. Doesn't mean they know how to recruit strategically, particularly in this labor market. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and this is some of all the work that we do. We're SHRM certified. I don't know if you're familiar with SHRM, but it is the Society for Human Resources. It really is the executive standard of talent acquisition and leadership, and human resources leadership. Chief Learning Officer. HYA is deeply connected to AASA, to the National Association of School Superintendents. We run, we run academies across the country as well, because we believe that we need to open access and pathways to leadership. So we just don't talk the talk. We actually develop leaders, and we do that at the national level. We're all in Illinois, but Illinois always doesn't have the best model for education. So that national exposure, we have access to a lot of aspiring leaders and leaders nationally, and we're part of that process. We develop them and we learn from them, not just in the state, but in the country. Anything else around this? And so we'll talk a little bit about this too. We have assessments. We use leadership assessments that are industry standard that we use in executive recruiting. We are an executive recruiting company. We're just not retired superintendents in the state.
Are you, when you say you're an executive recruited company, though, you are specifically, when you put up, like, we've done 1,600 searches, are those searches specific to
Yes.
superintendent roles?
To education.
To education.
Yeah, 90% of them, 85% of them are for the role of superintendent. Others are for CSPOs,
Superintendents,
associate
CSPOs,
superintendents.
principals.
Sometimes we do high-profile principal positions.
We do high
as well.
we did the Michigan superintendent state. We're doing the state superintendent search for the state of Kansas. We did the Maryland state superintendent search, but we also do nonprofits and executive leadership positions in nonprofits as well. Recruiting is recruiting, and that sort of exposure to the proprietary side really allows us to have extremely high level, high quality recruiting on the K-12 side as well. So we bring in all the best practices from the proprietary sector that we think well serves our clients.
So this is our signature process, and the most important thing you should glean from this slide is that it's customizable. We listen to you. We would start off with a planning meeting, and we want to hear your needs, and we take this model and then we customize it to fit your specific needs. This, as Lynn said at the beginning of the presentation, we believe is the most important decision a board makes to select your next educational leader. And we are, when we plan with you, we're going to encourage, the first thing we do, that we meet one-on-one with each of you. And we'll ask you to put aside time. We'll meet face-to-face. We'll do it over phone. We'll do it virtually, whatever is convenient for you, 7 days a week. We need to gather your input as a board. And then you will elect the stakeholders that you believe you want involved in the process. And most districts take a look at each one of the stakeholder groups, and we would encourage that for here too, but we need to hear from you to help define that search, and gathering all that information, and then a survey, a professional survey that we would recommend to you to be sent out to all your stakeholders. And Lynn is going to talk about the mixed
So this
method
is-
right here.
So, and ask questions here, because this is really what we think is the most important part of the search process. And this is our robust, research-based mixed method design. And so we take qualitative data, and so we will spend time in your schools. We will, focus groups, it's all unlimited. You decide how many focus groups you want, how many community members, who you'd like to be involved in this process. That's your decision. We might have some suggestions, but you're really deciding that. How many you want, unlimited, as many as you want. Board interviews, as Carrie talked about, we spend one-on-one time with each of you, probably 2 hours, just really getting to, where you're at, where you'd like to see the district, where you'd like the leadership to go. A community survey, focus groups then. We do the survey first because the survey informs us before we go into the qualitative piece where we do the interviews and we do the forums and the town halls, so we can have better perspective over that. We like to see your classrooms. School districts, Riverside is unique.
Can I interrupt you?
Special.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. What do you mean by town halls? Like when you mentioned town halls, can you elaborate on
Yeah, if you
that?
want to have some town halls, like a community town hall, we're more than willing to facilitate that.
So invite your parents, maybe have the parent association host us and open up a gym and invite all the parents and we would engage with them.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
And get feedback. We break them up into smaller groups, depending how large it is. The same thing with the community at large, or your teachers, your support staff, other stakeholders as well.
Yeah. We want to spend time in your schools. It's the little things that make you special. And we are research scientists. I mean, so we see how your stakeholders interact with each other. We see how your leadership interacts with your teachers. We see how your teachers interact with your teachers. We learn a lot by spending time in the district. We recently just concluded Sycamore. We visited every school. We spent half a day in every school, just really understanding that environment. Up to the point where
we get invited to community events.
we do.
Pumpkin Fest in Sycamore, and we hope the same here in Riverside. If you select us, that we would enmesh ourselves in your community to really know your community, because we believe your search firm is an advocate for your school district in recruiting those candidates. So the better we get to know you, the better we can pass that on to the candidates or potential candidates.
So at the end of this, we'll come to you in a formal meeting. We'll have a deliverable, which is a leadership profile. But that leadership profile is so robust and so complete that, and I know you're doing a strategic plan right now as well. It actually also informs that strategic planning process as well. That's how deep and robust this profile and this report will be. We not only use it to recruit, so David, back to your question about how we recruit, you can have the best superintendents come apply for this, but it doesn't necessarily mean it fits what you need at this point in time. So we really use this leadership profile as that benchmark to be able to do that, to be able to talk about the strategic position of the district. Also, it's a tool for the leader as a transition as well. So when your next leader is selected, all of that information and data becomes a transition tool for them as well, so that they can be as successful as possible.
Can you go back a couple slides?
I will. There you go.
Thank you. We talked about recruiting, the selection process. We're with you every step of the way. We work for you. We are the ones that do all the legwork and so on. You are the ones that make the decision. We don't make the decision. You make the decision. We will vet all the people that apply for the position. We both interview them. We will spend quality time. Some will call back and interview another time. We'll check references. We'll do our due diligence, both formal and informally, putting together a recommended slate for you based off that leadership profile that Lynn was describing. The interview process, we're not in the room with you when you interview. However, we will prepare you, and we will do a workshop or more if we will do a workshop and more if needed to help you be fully prepared to take advantage of that interview process to really get the information you need to know to help you select that next superintendent. And we referenced this earlier, timing is outstanding. You have a superintendent that has a plan and is giving you an opportunity to have a nice long runway to select your next superintendent. So you're in what we call round or wave one. So you will have an opportunity for all the superintendent candidates that are looking to consider your school district.
All the interview protocols are SHRM standard certified, so we take care of everything. So all we take care of your, obviously you have feedback, but we take care of all the little details where you can just come to the meeting and really engage with your candidates. So everything we take care of, absolutely everything. And then the last thing is, this comes with so you just don't get to say goodbye to us after you appoint your new leader. Carrie calls it what? We're like gum on a shoe.
I thought we weren't going to talk about that either. No, it will be hard to get rid of us. You could call us 2-3 years after you hire a superintendent, and if you needed our support or assistance or your help, or if you're superintendent, we are there for you. Our business, HYA's business, is built on relationships. And if you hire us, we want to develop the best possible relationship. And Lynn is right. We will be like gum on your shoe. You won't be able to get rid of us. We're always there for you, especially, and it's up to you, but we have a tentative timeline projecting you're going to select a superintendent in December, where you're at right now. We will be there for you for the 6 months leading into that, and then we will work with you and the superintendent afterwards, especially the superintendent, to give that individual the support that's needed to be successful here in Riverside.
So 12 months of transition support after the leader is identified. And then if it's up to you, it's part of our service as well, governance workshop as well, just ensuring 100% success.
And it says down there, and we said this earlier, and we will have a point person, and you'll have a point person, but any of you could text us or call us or email us at any time, and if you text us 24/7, we will respond to you within minutes, if not sooner. It's during the search and also after the search as well.
We talked about this, so if you have any questions on this, let us know. Carrie talked about a timeline, but this is just suggested. If you have the ability to get started before this time, that's fine.
Yeah, we can start collecting information before the school year ends. We can do it during the summer. Most school boards don't elect that because people travel, but your community better than us, and so we're available. If you said yes to us tonight, as Lynn said, we're ready to go tomorrow, whatever meets your needs.
We worked with the school district that was that we were actually able. They wanted the superintendent to start actually March 1st, not July 1st, and we were able to make that deadline. So part of this is also how quickly you want to move through the process. You can never have enough time to transition, but this is really fully customizable. we've done searches in, what, 5 weeks? Or we've started them right now for a July 2027 start date. So it's really up to you. But again, planning, then we go into engagement, presentation of the slate. Probably out of this whole process, we'll need a planning meeting. We like to have talk about presentation of the slate. We'll have round 1. Carrie, I don't know if Carrie, you talked about this, but your first slate, we believe anybody we put on that first slate can do the job. And so when you talk about numbers, we'll have conversations with you. It's really about there may only be 3 people that we truly believe can do the job. We will not put anybody on the first slate if we do not believe they cannot be successful. We'll have multiple tiers of slates for you to review, but that's how robust that first slate really is. And so we would need you for that slate meeting, first round, second round, and then guiding you through that process. If you choose to stick with a timeline similar to this, you'd be able to make that announcement before the winter break, which then gives that entire winter and spring for transition. But again, it's very customizable, and we can make any timeline work, and we have.
So I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming, so all these sessions here, these interview sessions are closed session for the board? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and you can ask us, and we have tons of experience in this, we give you an answer, but you also have a legal firm that, regarding posting and so on of the minutes, but no, they're definitely closed session, but you should also use your resource with your legal to make sure you're legal with all your postings and everything else.
And we did discuss that, or Martha and I did discuss that with the attorney. So anytime we discuss with a candidate, regardless, an individual person is identified, we can make that as a closed session.
Okay.
So, because the key thing too is we as I mentioned before, we want the candidates are to be private. We don't want to be posting like saying, these are the people we're interviewing. This is going to be a confidential search.
And it's an excellent point that you both bring up, because if you open it up, and we work in different states as well, and some states mandate that you disclose those candidates and you interview live, and so everybody sees that. Well, that kind of puts a little hindrance on the number of people that apply for the position. And so if you're comfortable and if you're able to provide confidentiality in the candidates at least through the first round, you'll have an opportunity to see more qualified candidates that will take a look, and you'll have an opportunity for them. The second round's a question that you'll have to discuss as a board. Some suburban school districts open it up the second round, where they get some stakeholders involved in meeting the final 2 candidates or final candidate. That'll be up to you, and we're happy to work with you regarding that. Other school districts keep it confidential all the way until they make the recommendation and appoint the person at that meeting.
And we've worked with school districts too. They wanted some stakeholder feedback. We've had them sign NDAs. We've done all the logistical work behind that. So you may want to bring the second round to a wider audience, but we have ways to keep that confidential as well. And we have experience.
Could you maybe speak to just general trends that you're seeing around superintendent demand and supply right now, and for a district like ours, I know you don't know us fully yet, but based on what you do know of Riverside School District, what would you expect roughly in terms of the number of applicants we might see for this position? So
I do know Riverside. I go back to John Lambert, and I think some, if not all of you, remember John as your superintendent, and we're very interested in really getting to know your school district even more. You're out in front, which is great, and so those eager candidates are all going to get a look at you, and with HYA's website and the way we marketed the position and then advertise it to our 140 associates, the word will get out there. We believe you're a very attractive school district. You've done an excellent job. Your superintendent has done an excellent job. We think you're going to get a healthy pull. Compensation has something to do with it as well, and we're happy to give you an analysis and give you some suggestions and recommendations regarding compensation. If you're looking to get a superintendent at a little lower price, you might see a diminish as far as the number of candidates. But we'll walk you through, and we'll share our experiences, and we'll share the compensation of similar school districts and where we believe you think you need to be.
And then if I could just add to that,
Sure.
you're going to be attractive, but that doesn't necessarily mean all those candidates are going to be current candidates. And so post-COVID, I mean, the leadership that is needed, you need high levels of emotional intelligence, high levels of resilience. We do all those assessments for you and provide you with the outcomes of those assessments. You also have to, we haven't had conversations with you about where you want to go, but they not only, they have to be very strong in pedagogy as well, and where the trends are going to be able to support, an era of accountability, but also the social-emotional whole child piece of it as well. And we're preparing kids for a workforce that is very fluid. So you want a leader that's on the cutting edge of that, but you want someone who's highly empathetic with high levels of emotional intelligence. And I think that you've probably read a lot about the future of education. I'm sure you've gone to a lot of the conferences around this as well. But really somebody who also can build capacity at the educator level to kind of guide you into the future. So it's a very different, what got us here, the leaders that got us here are what are going to get education to the next level. And our job is to be able to bring you those future forward leaders. I wanted to add something too. So we take resumes, we don't necessarily have cover letters. We have them create a portfolio. We want to see their body of work, and we want to see evidence of skills and competencies that have been identified in the leadership profile. So we're looking for proven skills and competencies that align to the leadership profile. And that is very different from what some of the other search firms do.
But to your point, there are fewer candidates, superintendent candidates, than there were 10 years ago. There are fewer teacher candidates than there were 10 years ago. But I don't think that's going to be an issue for this search at all.
Can you maybe tell us, like, based on maybe a couple similar districts, like how many candidates you might pull, like on the initial, like when you post it, how many candidates you might get?
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Obviously, and I'm not saying that they're all qualified or anything. I'm just saying those are like they saw a job posting and they applied.
Yeah. I would say we probably average 30 to 40.
Okay.
And you're right, not all 40. If we got 40, we would even come close to bring it to you.
Carrie and I ran a search where the state superintendent in another state applied for the position. And wonderful leader, but the skills and competencies didn't match what the district was looking for. So, we'll get maybe 40, but we really narrowed that down.
Yeah, we're not trying to find you the best superintendent. We're trying to find you the best superintendent to best meet your current needs, and that's where we think that separates us from other search firms. Want to go to the next slide?
I think that's questions. Oh.
All right. I think this is our second to last slide. We offer all kinds of optional services. We have a whole menu of them. There really isn't any optional services you need beyond this proposal that we submitted to you, with one exception, and that's what we call your due diligence background check. This is a third party. We strongly recommend this to all school districts. You've read the news over the last couple years, and so we've been recommending a third party background check for nearly 25 years right now. This background check, we contract with a third party, and you can go through us. We don't make an extra dollar on this, or you can contract on your own a third party to do this comprehensive deep dive background check, and it goes down. We'll get a 25-page to 40-page report on the individual, and there's 2 levels of that dive, and that it range from about $1,100 to $1,900 depending on how deep you go. We definitely recommend it for your final candidate before you offer the job. Some school districts do it on the final slate if there's 4, 5, or 6. That's costly. Definitely we would recommend. That would be the only thing that we would strongly encourage. If you want an advertisement beyond what we offer, we can provide that for you in all the professional journals, any ones you want, and an additional cost. We don't think that's a good investment of your dollar. But our proposal is more than robust to be able to find you what you're looking for. We have a fixed price. We do have other guarantees that will match any other firm's price at the same level of service. Our guarantee is that if the superintendent leaves for any reason at all that first year, you tell them to take a hike, or something comes up and they get sick, or a family member gets sick and they have to resign, we'll redo the search at no cost. We won't solicit your candidate. Our policy in HYA is three years. We try never to do it, Lynn and I, because our client is not the superintendent. Our client is the school board. We want to gain your trust. We want to develop a relationship because we offer searches, but we also offer so much more at HYA. We will continue to search until you are satisfied. You tell us, yes, we're good. And if you're not good, you let us know and we continue to work hard for you. And this last paragraph here, and I'm going to read it, so please forgive me, we think is so important. We believe that hiring your educational leader is the single most significant decision a board makes. If you're looking to conduct this process on the cheap, what we believe you're not doing your due diligence. We're not your firm. There's a lot of firms out there that will be half the price of we are, but we believe in this business you get what you pay for. However, if you want the utmost professional, comprehensive, and experienced search firm, we would be more than honored to be partnered with you. Do you have any questions for us?
Small bite, how much?
What is it?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I thought you'd be discussing this because I looked at that. The cost that you quoted us was $19,500.
Yes, $19,500.
And so I guess just to serve, and that doesn't include the background checks you were discussing.
No, the background check is the only other option that we
Okay.
would recommend, and you don't have to go with us. We have a trusted partner for the last 25 years, but you could also find a comparable service out there, and you're more than welcome. But we believe it's an important facet of the due diligence process
Yeah.
by you, the school.
And I
school
think
board.
you've read what happened in Des Moines and some of the other school districts, and it's something that we highly recommend. It's
So-
50-plus pages.
Yeah.
It's comprehensive.
So I guess what you sent, I guess, is that the formal proposal? Because I did, when I read it and I reviewed it, I didn't realize that was a formal proposal with like, because I didn't see any signature lines or anything that we would accept it or anything like that.
No, we didn't send you a contract.
Right,
We're
so-
happy to send you a contract, yeah.
Okay. I will send out this, I'll send out this one and the other one as well.
Oh.
So you mentioned John Lambert. Were you referring to John Lambert's son?
Lamberson, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Does he have a relationship with your firm, or how do you know?
No, I'm old. If you can not that John Lamberson. I apologize. No, John was an administrator at New Trier, and he went to Barrington as well, and that's my home school district. He was
okay.
superintendent in Barrington, and then he came here eventually. So.
Anything else? Everything I have was already asked.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Anything else?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was nice
Yes.
meeting.
Yes, you don't mind if I shake your hands? You know, I used to work at a school called St. Lambert.
Really?
You know,
Okay.
My bedtime's 8:15. And I kind of get
But he
mixed
does
up.
get up at like 3:15.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
You know,
Good questions.
If there's
Thank
any
you.
early risers,
Right.
Carrie's not
Yeah.
evening.
Thank
It's
you.
really nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Thank you.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
All right, yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, right.
Nice to meet you again. Thank you. Nice to meet you again.
And we'll just leave real quick and say thank you for your service as a school board. It's a very honorable thing to do, to volunteer to do something good for kids. And so we compliment you on your service.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay. I have 5% battery left on my computer. I don't know if I want to make it the rest of the meeting.
Oh.
So just as a heads up, I might need to borrow
Okay.
a neighbor's.
All
Okay.
right.
You had a strategic plan update.
Yeah,
then-
and that was, I know, like, maybe in the interest of time, that was really just to give Matt and Marlo and Dan, if you want to just sort of share a little bit about the process that we're in, I know. We're in the process, we're 2 sessions into a 3-session plan.
Yeah, we've been talking about the mission and the vision, set up in different tables, some different groups.
A little louder than that.
Yeah, a
More
little
people
bit. Good conversations, and each table kind of comes up with ideas, what the vision for the district should be. We had discussions, a lot of talk about community and hands-on kind of learning. It's been a really good conversation.
Mhm.
Kids have been part of it. I think there's
Yeah.
4, all 7th graders.
6th
One
graders.
6th grader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6th and 7th.
Everybody included them. If they're not speaking up, we ask them what they think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They've been key.
Yeah.
Yep, I lost power. That's embarrassing. Does anybody have a USB-C plug?
I checked it. I thought I had one in my bag. I don't.
No, but I'm not really.
I would say I don't usually run out of battery during this meeting. I don't know why it's draining me.
use one consent agenda, so it's all 200 pages of it, but that's the agenda.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, look.
Oh. Look,
Oh, look
here
at
comes
you.
here comes a
Wow.
UV.
Oh,
all right.
Speaking of the microphone. Do I have a? Now the question is, do I have a plug?
I was just texting our director of
There's
technology.
one over here. That's a ways
Is
away,
there-
though.
Is there one in the center?
There's like floor things in here. I apologize, everybody. I will bring my charger with me next.
Oh, there-
I think there's. Is that box in front of me, or is that
Is
just
that-
audio?
I think that might-
It's just audio.
I do too. This could go well.
Go ahead, pick it up.
Oh.
Pass it around.
Look at you, got all the
Oh my
tools.
goodness.
All right,
Oh, wow.
you're the best.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh.
Look at that. That's awesome. Thanks.
Perfect. To the rescue. Thank you. Sorry, I interrupted that. Was that the end of it, or did I?
It's been a
cause
good process.
disruption?
There's one more I think it's about 2 weeks to 3 weeks.
Yeah, usually.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's our last one, right?
Yeah.
Zoom 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we make it through. We didn't get through the whole agenda the last time.
I think we have to finish the vision and the values all in one session, so that'll.
Yeah, and get to the goals. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
In 3
I wonder
hours?
if we're gonna
So either we have a
add
rain
fourth
date.
session. Yeah, or like an optional fourth session to put finishing touches on it.
Mhm.
I think I did talk to our
possible.
facilitator. It's taken a little longer than
Yeah.
he anticipated too. He's a good facilitator. There's been a lot of great discussion.
Yeah, and I think
it's been
there was no
meaningful
wasted
discussion,
time.
Right.
It was all
Yeah.
great conversations.
Yeah.
Good.
And I think a lot of viewpoints from
Yeah.
so many different areas,
Yeah.
teachers, parents, everything.
You know, I mean, from the first update, which was very, very brief, it sounded like the students were pretty engaged too, which is good.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
hear.
they definitely are.
Yeah.
Good.
And some of them volunteered to present for the table
Oh,
and
wow,
didn't
okay.
have to be like,
Yeah.
hey, trick them into it.
Yeah, they're not
Nice.
just willing to talk at their table group. They've been willing to present to the whole group of 45.
Yeah.
Really, all of them. And
Wow,
it's
that's
been
impressive.
really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's intimidating.
Not
Some
for
of that
them?
age.
Yeah.
Not, I mean,
No.
clearly not for them. But yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
So that, I just wanted to make sure we touch base about that. We'll obviously be bringing more information to all of you soon.
Yep.
Like
Okay.
in April. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I got here we go. This consent agenda is next. I at least had enough in my head that I knew I needed to ask the secretary to read the consent
Yeah.
agenda while I figured out my power situation.
Okay.
So could you please read the
Yes,
consent agenda?
let me know, because I know you need to then
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
motion
good
it.
now. Yep.
Lengthy consent agenda this evening. Tonight's consent agenda consists of minutes from the following previous meetings: the February 4th Committee of the Whole, February 18th regular business, along with the February 18th closed session, and the February 24th strategic planning meeting minutes. The personnel report, the payables pre-list as of February 28th, along with the payables pre-list as of March 18th. The approval of holidays for administrator and district office non-union support staff, the LADSI classroom lease for 26-2027, and the CBA salaries, approving a salary increase of 3% and upper bound increase of 1% and a lower bound increase of 0%.
Okay, and then in the motion, there was we had a procedural question, I'll call it, related to one of the items on the personnel report. So for the motion, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with a modification to remove items C and D out of the personnel report, everything else remaining?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, would you like to call, could you please call the roll?
Okay, I just have a question. When you're saying C and D, I have them numbered, so you're talking what?
Like it's,
On the actual report, there's a C.
yeah, inside
And there's a
the.
D.
Oh, the minutes,
On the
okay.
chart.
No,
The
in the
personnel
personnel
report.
report.
Oh, I see.
So under G2,
Okay,
so in the personnel report,
Okay,
items C
gotcha.
and D.
okay.
Everything else in that will be approved as part of the consent agenda.
Okay, so we have,
Very narrow pullout on
Okay,
some
perfect.
additional conversation.
Okay. Mr. Olick,
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Gunn,
Aye.
Ms. Kalick. Aye. Ms. Claps,
Aye.
and Mr. Muirhead.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. And, okay. Next item is a resolution authorizing notice of non-renewal to long-term substitute teachers, which is a thing that we do every year as a procedural item for employees in these positions, in substitute teacher positions. Is there a motion for the Board of Education to approve the resolution authorizing notice of non-renewal to non-tenured long-term substitute teachers for the teacher for the individual named in the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, will you please call the roll?
Okay. Mr. Barsadi,
Aye.
Mr. Hunt,
Aye.
Ms. Gunn,
Aye.
Ms. Claps,
Aye.
Ms. Kalick,
Aye.
Mr. Olick,
Aye.
and Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, and then the next item is similar, but for non-tenured permanent substitutes. So is there a motion for the Board of Education to approve the resolution authorizing notice of non-renewal to non-tenured permanent substitute teachers for the individuals named in the resolution as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
I'm sorry, just a quick note
Yeah.
before we vote on this. I think it's, yes, we do this every year, and it's not necessarily everyone on this list is, or I guess some return. Some have been known to return in the past, if I'm correct.
They might be invited for recall, but the ones that are eligible to potentially achieve tenure are not.
Yes.
Because that's a decision we made about the permanent subs, that they weren't, I mean, many of them are not even eligible for tenure, maybe perhaps based on their licensure. So it's an important technical detail that we address every year.
Yeah. Same with the other one too.
And it's not at all about performance or anything, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very much a technical procedure for legal reasons or whatever, so, yeah, okay. Any other questions, comments? Sorry, should pause for that. Thank you, Dan. No? Okay. Kathy, will you please call the roll?
Okay. Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
Ms. Claps?
Abstain.
Mr. Olick?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Ms. Kalick? Aye. Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
And Mr. Muirhead?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay. Then next up is Riverside Education Council. Any comments for tonight? Nope. Okay. Any board member comments? Wow,
Happy
you're
spring
quiet
break.
on the comments. Last couple of meetings. Okay.
We would have talked about the strategic planning we talked about previously.
We, the Riverside Historical Society, again, sponsored a Women in History event for our fourth grade students, where the fourth grade students in Riverside were invited to create posters celebrating women in history during Women's History Month. And it was presented at the library, and it's such a fun event. And this year, we had a huge group of fourth grade teachers come out and support our students, which was really amazing to see. If you have the opportunity to stop by the library, these posters are up, I think, through the end of the month. And I also just want to thank all of our fourth grade teachers for being so supportive of the kids that won either an honorable mention that day or a prize and a trophy that day. So really great event.
Thank you for giving me a moment to remember something I should mention as well. March, yes, it might be known for March Madness. It is also known for March Mammal Madness. Yes, yes. We had a trip we took the kids to. Well, I didn't take the kids, but I went along for the ride to the Brookfield Zoo. There was a lot of great interest there. This was for the fifth graders at Blythe Park. A lot of great interest, a lot of fun animals seen, and a lot of things learned that day, I believe. And
Cool.
Thanks to everyone who helped out with that, including someone who might be here today.
Who doesn't enjoy a trip to this?
I do no other brackets. I don't participate in any of my office's brackets or any of that, but I am a March Madness fanatic. I love it. And my son is no longer in the grade that does it, and yet we've chosen to do it on our own this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Deb, do we have any updates? Who's winning? Who's up?
We do, but not all the classes are in the
Oh, okay. We can't let it out of the bag.
Gotta wait.
Hopefully it's not a cat.
No spoilers.
Thanks.
Trying to crack the secrets of public, dude. That's how you do it. All right. Okay, old business. Trimester 2 update on chronic absenteeism.
Yeah, so as you know, this is something the board has asked for us to publish at each trimester, and sometimes it's at a COW meeting, sometimes it's a regular board meeting. Really depends on when our trimester ends. So for the end of second trimester, it makes most sense to bring it to the board meeting. And again, information for you to take a look at. Again, trending in the right direction, but still not really at our pre-pandemic levels around chronic absenteeism, and is something that is still, critically important that we are really supporting every child and finding ways for children that are struggling to get to school with regular attendance, to understand what that may be, what reasons there may be behind it, and finding supports and reasons to make sure that they are able to improve on their attendance. And thanks to our tech team for putting this together at each trimester.
No, I mean, I have to say, I do really appreciate this report. I mean, it's not as low as I thought it would be at this time, but we are at least trending in the right direction, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, what has it been, 4 years now that we've been back to regular? And I'm almost wondering, are we kind of at a new normal type situation? Not that you don't keep trying, but
yeah, I think what was
I
it
don't know.
pre-pandemic, right? Was 9%? Yeah, that's right there. Chronic absenteeism was 9% in 2019.
Yeah.
That was sort of the most solid pre-pandemic number we had, and you can see for trimester 1 we were essentially there, but it has trended up a little bit for when you combine trimesters 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of between that 9 and 10. I don't know if we were at 9 before.
Yeah, but
look at the seasonality of it, right? We're in a winter season, and so when you look at trimester 1 and 2 combined from where it was 2 years ago to where we are today, super great progress.
Oh, yeah,
I know,
yeah.
it was at over 18%.
Yeah.
So it's...
Yeah, I guess I only say that to say I don't think we're going to get down to 3, right? If it was 9 before,
Right,
at some
yeah,
point
no.
we can try, but I don't think we're ever going to get to 0, right? So feels like we're kind of back to where we are, and that feels good. Because 18 was incredibly high just 2 years ago, 2 school years ago.
Right.
So thank you for all the effort that you've put into that too, as well.
It's really thanks to Molly and Jonathan Hoffman who put that together, so thanks.
Okay. Any other conversation on that before we move on? No. All right. One last item. We have a quick note here on central Hauser boiler replacement considerations.
Okay. I feel like anytime we talk about boilers or a budget, I'm here to deliver bad news. So, however, I think what I wanted to do is deliver some information and then potentially some good news. So, we have talked about this in our facility advisory committee meeting, and it's probably a little bit unorthodox that it would be on a board meeting and not on the next COW meeting, but we don't have one in April and somewhat time sensitive, so we thought to put it here. As we entered this heating season and bringing on our new director of buildings and grounds, we recognize that the boiler systems at Central and Hauser, they're 28 years old, and they certainly have run their course. As we look back at some historical repairs and some recommendations in the past, we know that we've been band-aiding those with very costly fixes, costly to the tune of anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a piece over the last couple of years. And this, for one reason or another, does not exist on the 5-year capital plan that you've been working off of for the last 5 years. However, every other boiler in the district has been replaced to date. So in looking at this, these issues and reflecting on what happened with our chillers this past summer, where we've been putting a Band-Aid on some things and it cost us a temporary chiller, Zach and I are concerned about its ability to make it through your next heating season, which would be next October, November, maybe next September because it's Chicago. So, but the next heating season as we're coming off this one. So in knowing that there is a problem with a large piece of equipment, in addition and or coupled with other things we've been doing in terms of evaluating different processes for completing work in the district, Zach and I wanted to bring to you an idea about a different approach to completing projects of certain natures in the district. If you will, you'll remember that we talked about the playground equipment, the equipment itself for the playground that went through a cooperative type of approach in order to secure appropriate and by law bidding, but it wasn't your traditional go out to 3 different or 4 different bidders. It was a way to quickly get playground equipment at a cheap, effective cost and adhere to all the bidding standards, and they follow the specs that your architect put forward. In the realm of buildings and grounds, there are certain projects that are ideal candidates for what we call either a performance contract or a turnkey solution. Performance contracts typically revolve around those projects that are very specific to energy savings. And the premise is that the project itself, through the energy savings over a period of time, pays for the project. Typically, rooftop air conditioners, univentilators, things like that. Boilers might fall into there. I think it's a gray area, but it probably is more conducive to what we call a turnkey project. And that type of project, the district would forego, say, its own architect. It would forego a construction manager or owner's rep that you've typically used, and the district becomes the owner rep, i.e. the CSBO and the Director of Buildings and Grounds becomes the one that oversees that project. And the company that provides the service of turnkey is the one that provides the engineering, the mechanical engineering, the architecture of it, and they're all in one inclusive body of people. So in the turnkey model, we would select a turnkey vendor who would provide us essentially a proposal to do the work. All of their equipment is already on an Omni pre-bid, the same type of bid that your playground equipment was on. So it's already scoped and vetted. You've already met the conditions that you're required to bid, and they have that equipment on hand, so lead times and such become much quicker. Once they put a proposal together, they bring that to you, and it typically has a cost that's not to exceed. So in your normal scope of work, you typically get bids, you build in a contingency allowance, you produce change orders, and you hope that you stick within your budget. In this model, you have a not to exceed number, and if they exceed that cost, that's on the company because they're the ones engineering it themselves. One reason why the boiler project is conducive to that approach versus your typical have your architect develop the scope, send it out to bid, is that your architect is going to need to hire its own mechanical engineers to draw that on top of their own work. Whereas this firm hosts its own mechanical engineers that are going to draw that scope. So the process in this instance can be a cost savings to the district because you avoid using additional resources that are charging you for services that are already encompassed in one company. It is not to say that this is the approach that a board chooses for every single project you do, because it's not. But in this instance, this might make sense as a process. So I'll stop there to see if there's any questions about why we have a boiler problem, which I
think that's self-explanatory.
Yeah, right. It's 28 years old, the lifespan is 20 to 25 if it's been correctly preventative maintenance. So I thought that was probably what I want to make sure we're there. Okay. Any questions about this concept of a turnkey approach versus what you are typical to? You bring in your architect, they go down with a mechanical engineer, they draw a scope, they go out to bid for that exact scope, you get 3 or 4 bids, it comes back, you find the contractor, pay your architects, pay your owner's rep, pay change orders, and you go for it.
And is this so when you say we choose a vendor, like they're all pre-selected, like the playground stuff were pre-selected vendors, right? Like they'd meet certain qualifications or whatever. So is it a group of contractors that you just ask one, or how does that proposal piece work?
There are a few people who would provide a turnkey, very few people provide a turnkey approach because it's a niche inside school construction. Because the only thing they do are boilers and chillers.
Okay.
They're not also doing windows and pavement and roofs. So in this instance, we've discussed, we've been working with Train, the same Train that you might have at your house along with Carrier and others. And so they would walk through the process with their own mechanical engineers to draw the scope, do the site. And how their process works, which is nice for a board, is they come in, they walk our, in this case it's Central and Hauser, they walk that part of the mechanical room. We tell them that we're interested in their work. They do a deep dive, not a surface dive, with their engineers, and they come up with a couple of levels of solutions that you can use. I suspect that we would see an A and a B, and there'd be a cost difference. And the A would be more than B, but it might allow you to tap into that same system for future work, which is why they might construct an A, and that this is what you need just for right now is B. And we might not, as a board, you might not be thinking about that future work, but they don't know what you're thinking or what we're thinking. And they bring that to us in the form of a proposal that will have a not to exceed number, whatever that number is for A and B. At that point, they've done all of that work, it's cost you $0. The board then would sign a letter of intent. They would do a deeper dive and come back with a number that is not to exceed the original number they gave you. But that's where they're then getting into the nitty-gritty. They would bring that back to you, and at that point is when you would do a final approval for the work. So you're going to have, before you have spent a penny, a not to exceed number, and then moving forward, they do a deeper dive to know exactly what you need and exactly what equipment would be purchased, and you'll get another number, which will be less than the first number. I don't expect it. There's just not a lot of work going. It's 3 boilers, so it's not 15 schools that they're doing.
That was going to be my other call out. It's 3 boilers down there, so it's
it's 3 boilers versus 1 because it's serving both Hauser and Central. So, and I'm going to stop and look at Zach because I want to make sure we are 3 boilers.
We have 3 boilers and they're steam boilers.
Yes.
Now we're going into hot water boilers, which are more high efficiency and saving money.
Right.
With gas and all electric.
Right. So it would be a switch out, which is what you've done on all your other buildings. It went from steam to hot water. So it makes it conducive to managing the preventative maintenance of them, because with those water, you have to condition that water, and we're going to have to condition them the same, so it's all buildings on the same preventative maintenance routine. At that point, the board would have, after they've done this deepest dive, if for some reason you chose to back out, you would owe them for the scope of work, which I estimate to be about $20,000. If they said, boy, I can't imagine why you'd get that far and say no, but I think it's one last out for the board. Maybe at that time your financial situation has changed and you thought, you can't do it right now, but it's paid for that engineering work that has been put into it, which is very similar if you said you wanted to do a window project and you had an architect scope the window project and you went to bid and chose not to do it, you would still be paying your architect for the scope work that was done to go to bid. So it's similar.
And then when you do it again, you pay them again.
And then you do it again the next year when you can afford it, you pay them again. So it's just it's a different approach And it's one, like I said, we've talked about it at the Facility Advisory Committee. Given the timeliness of it, typically your past practice would have been you would discuss this project as something that would hit your fiscal year 28 budget, not your fiscal year 27 budget. Because we have our projects for this year, that is the windows, the tuck pointing, and the playground, and then we'd be ramping up in September for the next group, which would be a boiler. But if you wait till September, you're gonna hobble through one more heating season. And I'm very confident that you're not gonna get through that heating season without significant costs to Band-Aid your system. And you're gonna do it the next year. You're gonna have to. So you're gonna figure 5% escalation on cost of equipment from this year to next year. So I know it's not what you've done in the past. I think we're here to tell you it's on your horizon. I think there's a proactive approach we can use with a turnkey system that would meet a time frame and probably be the most cost-effective way for you to do it, whether you needed to meet a time frame or not. If you chose hobble through, Mark, we don't want to talk about a boiler, it's too soon. I think you still want to do this process next year, but you could do it this year and save whatever those costs would be in repairs to buy you another year.
So you said it's a gray area, though, that for this having to count as energy savings. I mean, are there firms that are lined up with bids or with proposals as a energy savings proposal, or no?
Well, there is an approach that is allowed under Illinois bid law now called performance contracting. What that performance contract, in short, and the nuts and bolts would have to do is they would have to come in and do an energy assessment, and then they would have to say, by putting in these new boilers, that you could recoup the cost of those boilers through energy savings over X period of time. And I don't know that unless you're doing as one scope of project, your boilers, your roofs, your insulation, your univent, if you're not doing it all together as one, I don't know that all of your savings is going to be there on a singular project. Typically those projects are complete overhauls of multiple buildings so that those energy savings can be realized as a whole versus just central houser on just the boilers.
But you're saying those...
There's certainly going to be energy savings, don't get me wrong. Definitely be more efficient.
But what you're saying, though, is we have essentially two tracks. We can do the performance or the turnkey, and you're saying we just pursue this on the turnkey track.
That's my strong recommendation. Yeah. Well, your third approach is to do...
traditional bid.
Your traditional bid approach, which that approach is not going to get you. That approach is not... I don't think that's going to be feasible to do that work ahead of time. So I think that it's just a piece of information. I think what I would be prepared to bring to you at the April meeting is a not to exceed number. And at that point, it's cost you nothing to see it.
Yeah.
And as a district, it's cost you nothing to see that number.
So there's a new business discussion, no decision needed tonight, but I realize it's a new consideration, yeah.
So it's an emergency with about a 6-month lead time. Is kind of what I'm hearing. Just personally, I mean, it sounds like something we need to do. It's incredibly frustrating because specifically as we've talked over the years about 5-year, 10-year plans, boilers are one. And so the fact that this was not even on there anywhere is, to say it lightly, incredibly frustrating.
I think it's on there, but it's on there for like 2 years from now, right?
Okay.
It's on that list. It's not?
Yeah, this boiler did not make the list.
So one of the things that we have done, because I agree that this is pretty frustrating that we're in this scenario, and this is why we sort of decided that this needed to come to the board. Some of us were aware of it, just to make sure we started, to socialize the idea that, hey, there's sort of this emergency around having a boiler or 3 boilers replaced. But like what we've talked about at the facilities committee since Zach has come in is, and Mark as well, is really sort of laying out expectation of what these capital expenses should be over the next 1, 2, and 3 years. So that way, like, you know, as there's this great assessment that Zach has brought about and Mark has brought about, like, we really as a board from here on out should have more visibility into this, and there shouldn't be these surprises because, you know, this is likely to be a hefty expense.
Especially when you have a bunch of projects tacked on already that it's not going to feel great, but it's necessary. Just to kind of throw that out there, you know, I don't know. I mean, the 150 that you threw out in Band-Aids, I mean, is that over, what, 5 years or something, or what would you estimate? I mean, it's probably tens of thousands a year we're patching things.
We're 100,000 this year.
Just this year.
Yeah. And the reason that this hasn't come up in front of the board is because these have been considered emergency maintenance projects, but if you look closely through the list that we receive, like, you will see that there are some expenses on there that are, you know, tens of thousands of dollars that have been due to this.
Yeah, and it is frustrating that you're sitting here in this spot, and I understand that, but, you know, the good news I want to deliver to you is that you have a director of buildings and grounds who identify these issues. We're able to understand the Band-Aids that have been there based on past purchases, and to know that they're not going to continue to work. And that there is experience now in the room to provide you with at least options for you to consider.
Yeah, I was going to wrap back to that. I think the structure that we just recently put in place is going to be a helpful one, because we have been sort of trying to put this together. I think we've used DLA for some assessments, and it's been very, I don't know, hodgepodge or whatever. I think the frustrating part for me is I think we've been talking about putting together a plan since I've been on the board for 6 years, and so it's that seems to just be a struggle. So it sounds like we're on a better track to what you just said, Selena. So that feels better. So just kind of have that dialogue, because I imagine many of you, I got a preview of this before the meeting, so some of you are hearing this for the first time, and I was a little surprised by it, so I'm imagining you all are too. So
I swear the last time we replaced a boiler it was mentioned, and now they're all complete.
Maybe. I don't recall that specifically. The
Was it
Ames was the
Blythe?
last
Was
one.
it Ames?
there.
Okay,
Ames was
I
the last
swear
one.
it was said that now they're all upgraded. Maybe somehow this maintenance was, someone interpreted it or misthought of it as a replacement or a reset of the clock. I don't know.
Perhaps.
Oh, well.
So I think we're on a better track. So thank you, Selena. Thank you, Matt, of just
Definitely
kind
better
of
track.
navigating that stuff and continuing to. But I mean, unless there's opposition to just bringing a free number for us to assess what kind of cost we're talking about, I think we should at least look at it and then figure it out. Cause
Yeah, and especially then compare it to at least Ames to see.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm expecting this to be more expensive because we're dealing with 3 versus 1 at Ames.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yes, from that perspective.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, David. I mean, you have at least a frame of reference for a boiler at Ames that just completed last year or the year before last.
Last year.
And the last year.
And I think
the number
DLA
that
did
we're-
all the
Right,
I think
yeah.
DLA did all the engineering.
Right, and so we can
reports, right?
Yeah.
look at total costs. I guess just if we can, just as a frame of, so a point of reference, if we could just see what the total cost was, like architect fees and all that.
Yeah,
for-
yeah, and we can put that together pretty close to, I don't know that it'll be exact, so I'm sure.
Or yeah, no, I mean.
But we can
Right.
put that pretty close. And I think the other thing I just wanted to reassure the board on is that a deliverable that we promised the Facility Advisory Committee by our April meeting, April 11th meeting, is a kind of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-year roadmap for not only some of these larger projects, but even narrowing it down to some of your smaller projects that, you know, they're not going to be on your capital plan that you talk about, but things, you know, just for example, exterior doors on buildings, things that, you know, those are your small things that you start to take care of before they become an emergency problem. So,
Yeah.
and I think Zach's done an excellent job of making some of those assessments. So to your point, Wesley, this we've been waiting for it. We've promised the facilities committee that roadmap by their April meeting.
Cool. And thank you, Zach, for identifying this, because, I mean, if we had this conversation that it broke down, I don't think that'd be a good conversation to have. So thank you for
that's the
catching this.
conversation we're trying to avoid before I walk out.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, that is all of our content for tonight. We do need to go back into closed session for some additional conversation we couldn't finish in our first 45 minutes. But first, the upcoming meetings, April 1st to be canceled. That falls over spring break. April 15th, we'll have a regular business meeting at 7 p.m. here in the Hauser Learning Resource Center. May 6th, Committee of the Whole, 7 p.m. at the multipurpose room at Central Elementary School, and then May 20th, regular business meeting at 7 p.m. here in the in the Hauser Auditorium. We must be doing more awards. I feel like did we just do that? Okay, so is there a motion to re-enter closed session? And there will be no vote, no action or anything like that after close related to this conversation, but is there a motion to go into close for the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the district or legal counsel for the district, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee or against legal counsel for the district to determine its validity and any matter involving an individual student?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy, would you please call the roll?
Okay, Ms. Class?
Aye.
Mr. Olick?
Aye.
Ms. Gunn?
Aye.
Mr. Barsadi?
Aye.
Mr. Kalick? Aye. Mr. Hunt?
Aye.
And Mr. Meredith?
Aye. Meeting adjourned. I don't know.